You can see how they've evolved into a more human-looking creature. They still have their 3 toes. They still have sharp claws. They still can chomp on you. They've got still very sharp teeth, but they don't have the long snout anymore, and they don't have their tail. They work with a lot of terrorist groups. They back ISIS. They've backed the guy in North Korea. Sometimes they work with Putin. Sometimes they work with whoever they can convince to work with. The raptors, on the other hand, started out as dinosaurs. They still look like dinosaurs. They left the planet millions of years ago. They have a huge empire out in space. It's called the Draconian Empire, but it's not the Dracos. And they call themselves dragons. They also have several bases on this planet at this time. They do work with our military. They've been our allies since 1952. They've worked, and they work currently with our military, and they do help protect this planet from threats that we're probably usually never aware of, except for the military. Now, several species that claim to retake Earth originated here in the past. Several species claim that they created humans to make better worker slaves than the apes, and that we have no right to freedom. Large bases can only be hidden in certain locations, like in the African Rift Valley, that have underground caves, but they also have dangerous earthquakes. And natural gateways are good locations for bases because they're good transportation hubs for slaves and products. Now, in most cases, the known alien bases are friendly scientific research facilities or research gathering complexes. They're secret due to their interstellar treaties. Definitely since 1961, a treaty was set in place that keeps being reinforced or ratified, that there's to be no civilian contact between aliens and humans, public, open. So there basically isn't. The military is in contact with them, of course. And most bases on the Earth have been closed, and most of the work is done by drones or from bases on the moon. So now I'm going to go through the different countries and either talk about specific sightings or maybe give you hints of where bases might be. So the first country is Botswana. A number of southern African nations are mentioned in this report I have, mostly due to the sightings in the country rather than having known bases. Most of the bases have no intention for us humans to know where they are. They don't want media coverage, they don't want attention, they don't want people to visit them, and they will defend their right to be secret. So Botswana was first inhabited by the Bushmen, then Bantus. The country became fully independent on September 30th, 1966. Diamonds, beef, and copper fueled its economy over the 20th century. A prolonged drought in the 1980s increased migration to the cities and contributed to rising unemployment and thousands of missing people who never reached the cities, kind of like the refugees who left Syria and never got to where they were going. In the northwest corner of Botswana are the Tsodilo Hills, there's a hint, that possessed art treasures, primitive art, and evidence of alien design. This area was seldom visited other than by the Bushmen. A Sir Seretse M. Khama, who was president from 1965 to 1980, pointed out to visitors that the country and its people had aid from heavens in ways that were far more direct than unseen gods. Now, in the lake areas of Chad, they're rich with legends and stories about strange creatures, lights in the sky, and reminders of reasons why women and children, especially pretty young women, should not go walking alone at night in the dark. Now, in August of 1961, which was only a couple months after the England conference, there were political problems in the Congo. And the report goes into a lot of the history, but I'm obviously condensing it way down. The United States, under the pressure of the UN and a pro-Lumumba state in eastern Congo, agreed that the Congolese parliament should reconvene to select a new national government. So the CIA used bribes to ensure that the government was led by its ally, Cyril Adula. Once he was in office, the CIA provided him with a PR firm to help him bolster his image and an advisor who wrote speeches for him. Now, in the meantime, Moise Tshombe, I I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was still the prime minister in Katanga, which was well protected by an army of mercenaries and reptoid shock troops. It would be highly telling how in every encounter between government troops and the army of Katanga, the well-supplied and vastly larger Congo military forces would get pounded into submission by supposed paramilitary groups. The fact that most of their wounds were from energy weapons, tactical atomic destabilization devices, and razor-sharp claws didn't seem to get much media attention. It's in the 1960s, so early 1960s. Yeah. And then because the CIA was playing both sides at that point, the reptoids had advanced recording devices covering telephone lines, radio transmissions, and at every important location in the country, Tshombe's intelligence was also vastly superior to anything that the government in the Congo could manage. When he agreed to the 1962 UN peace plan, he did not attend the Constitutional Assembly on the advice of the reptoid agents in Leopoldville. And this and other examples are examples of how he stayed one step ahead of his enemies. Now, by the fall of 1965, the Congolese army and its foreign and alien helpers had largely succeeded in regaining control of the country, but there was increasing competition between the president and the prime minister. Mobutu was then financed by the CIA, and he seized power. And through 1966 and 1967, the CIA forwarded intelligence to Mobutu about threats to his regime. The CIA helped him fend off 2 mutinies, and reptoid shock troops aided the government forces. And the U.S.'s long support of Mobutu was rationalized as necessary because there seemed to be no alternative to the chaos or disclosure of the alien question.